know, but he does, Professor Gates, he doesn't use ordinary people, regular people like us. He uses celebrities, because that's what viewers want to see, right? But you know, these people are not always so entertaining on Finding Your Roots, are they? You know, seeing them Finding Your Roots shows they're people just like us, trying to learn something about their family, something their family didn't tell them. Does that sound familiar? It's amazing to me how far some people can go without knowing who they are. And I mean, so all of those people on his show, they have accomplished great things in this country. While other people cannot move off the dime for the same reason, because they don't know who they are. What Professor Gates uncovers are patterns. It's as if his mantra is, there's nothing new under the sun, and especially nothing new in families. He loves to find parallels in the lives of his guests and their ancestors. He loves to do that. Now, here he's shown with Epatha Murkison. She's from Detroit. She's an actress. So, but these people right here, so you would know, oh, come on. Oh, I did it. There we go. So you would know her. You would know her. But how about these people right here? So these people have also contributed in a great way to our American society. And then the episode that these folks are on is called Pioneering Scientists. So one of these men is the director of the National Institutes of Health. One of them led the effort to map the human genome. The black woman in the middle, that's Shirley Ann Jackson, and she's a nuclear physicist. Right, yeah, that's heavy, isn't it? She told him, when he told her what he had to tell her, she said, you know, I'm breathless. She has accomplished great things, and there were things she did not know. So what Professor Gates' people found was a document that freed Dr. Jackson's ancestors from slavery. It was a woman named Juggy, and she was a midwife. And she was freed. We didn't know why. It wasn't a will, so it wasn't a death, which is how most slaves were freed. Enslaved people, pardon me, most enslaved people were free. We didn't know why, but Dr. Jackson said she hoped it was for the best reasons, the moral reasons, because slavery was wrong, flat out wrong. And in that moment, Dr. Jackson was not a nuclear physicist. She was just another person with slavery in her background, just another American, just like all of us here, all of us. Most of the people here are black people, but I see Mike Bryant. And some of us are really light, so we can. But you know, it doesn't matter. All Americans have slavery in their background. So we all have that, we have something in common. So she found out something about her story. Now, if you need any evidence that all the stories of African Americans have not been told, I just want you to watch Eddie Murphy's film, Dolomite Is My Name. Yeah, it's a Netflix original. It was nominated for some Golden Globe Awards, but it didn't win. It didn't win. It was just too black out there. You know, Dolomite is about this entertainer, Ruby Ray Moore, who tried first to make it as a singer, then as a comedian, and then lucked into actor with this persona of Dolomite. You know this character. This is his signature line. Down in the jungle deep, the signifying monkey stepped on the lion's feet. That's Dolomite. That's Dolomite. I first heard it in the movie House Party that starred the rappers Kid and Play, and one of the parents in there, that was his thing. He liked to say that line. It's straight from Africa. Monkeys, lions, stories being told with those animals. Yeah, Brer Rabbit, remember that? But you know, I knew this line after House Party, but I didn't know who the originator of Dolomite was. I didn't know his name or his story. So Eddie Murphy's film told his story and educated me. Moore's story was not pretty, it's gritty and clumsy, and violates all sense of decorum, even as men know decorum to be. You know, they don't stand on much ceremony on that. In the movie, we see Moore researching his material, and he's not in the microfilm room at the library in Michigan. He's sitting on a milk crate in the alley drinking with the men who are storytelling, also known as lions. But it's a story anybody can relate to because he's a man trying to achieve his dream. He's trying to make it in show business. And he's black, and he's taking risks, and it is thoroughly entertaining, and it contains some lessons, but mostly it's entertaining because it's a story. We are all leaders in our families. This effort that we are undertaking, everybody isn't going to do it. And they wonder, why are you doing it? Some people doesn't tell you logically well enough alone. We have made it this far. Yes, yeah, that's right. Don't bring that up. Yeah, that's right. Don't be digging that up. Yeah. So, but we want to tell our family stories. Well, one for us, and then next for the young people, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They need to know. And sometimes for our parents, I'll tell you a little story about my mother. After I did all this research and came up with some documentation that showed that what she believed was not quite right. And my mother looked at that, and she looked at me and she said, maybe. Now, in all other things, she definitely believes in documents, but on that piece, So we're telling this sometimes for our stories, and we're doing this research for our parents, our children, and their children. That's what I saw in the advanced writing classes I taught for 18 years at Lansing Community College. I saw older people come in and they're writing their story. And you ask, who is this for? And they say, my grandchildren. I want to know my story. And that's what I see in the participants at the annual Rally for Writers here in Lansing. This was last year. This is Will the Poet. He's a fun guy. And he was the keynote speaker there. And Landis was on the program last year, so was I. And we were all talking about writing our stories. This year is April 4 on the West Campus of LCC. Anyway, these are all older people who want their families to know their stories, and they are writing for them. Now, you want your stories to live for the young people in your family, because otherwise, you might have somebody else tell your story. And sometimes that can turn out really good. This is a story that I wrote, a profile I wrote about Rodney Whitaker, who's from Detroit, but he leads the jazz studies program at Michigan State, and he has really developed that program. Well, what most people didn't know is that Rodney was riding back and forth between, he's actually had a house in Highland Park, and East Lansing every day when he first got started. And that's where this story came from. It really just talks about his commute to work. You know, so, but that's part of Rodney's story. Some other stories of people that if you rely on media, you're gonna get a story like this, police story, right? And we've had a lot of that, haven't we? And those stories don't always have the best end for the people involved, and for us in our image as Americans and black people. Now, our young people get these stories all the time via mass media and social media, and they admire the people, the celebrities that they see in the media, because these people have stories that they're willing to share and to tell. And so we think we know them. They start feeling, and maybe even some of us, they start feeling more for these strangers than they feel for their own people. Have more of an interest in them. It's called the Diana effect, and it's named for Princess Diana in England, and who was known for her incredible story of leaving her husband, the future king of England, because she didn't like their family. And a black woman just did that. Again. So she probably said, look, baby, you're not going to be the king of England, so why are we doing it? That is true. But Diana's story inspired so many people around the world, and on top of that, she was a good person, she was beautiful, and then she died this tragic death. Hers was a compelling story. And if you look hard enough, won't you find at least one of those in any family? In your family, in my family, right? So, sometimes we have stars in our eyes because we think we know these stories. People show compassion for people whose stories they know. What an outpouring of feeling and emotion for Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and the 7 other people who were killed in that helicopter crash in California. It's such a heartbreaking tragedy, especially for the 3 teenagers who died. That's who I really felt for. 3 13-year-olds in this helicopter. And even for Kobe Bryant, who was only 41 years old. But after I got over the shock, my husband, he came downstairs on the day that was a Sunday, I think. He came downstairs and he said, Kobe Bryant is dead. I was like, what? Bryant? But after I got over that, I had to ask myself, what really does Kobe Bryant's life or death have to do with my life?